It's that time of the week again. Let's go ahead and review Icon versus Hardware, issue number 1. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is another Wednesday comic review. I like to bring you a review of a single issue every week, or at least, third time's a charm. Is this the second? This is the third time we've done this. So anyway, it's now a weekly series. You're welcome. So this week, I wanted to talk about Icon versus Hardware, issue number 1. Normally, I would record the DC videos on a Tuesday, but I'm a little bit late to the party. But then I realized nobody's really talking about this book, and so I'm going to go ahead and do you the honors. So, Icon versus Hardware, issue number 1. I keep wanting to call this Icon and Rocket, and that's just because we had a whole season of Icon and Rocket about, 6 months ago that wrapped up. And the same for Hardware. We had season 1 of Hardware last year as well. And after those two series wrapped up, Hardware specifically sort of ends with a what's going on, and you get like a glimpse of Icon in the end of the Hardware book, and then in the Milestones in History book we also get that sort of teased. And here we are now. The event is finally here. This is Icon versus Hardware. So it's written by Reggie Hudlin and Leon Chills, with art by Dennis Cowan, as well as Yasmin Flores Montañez. Hopefully I said that right. I'm not great at Spanish, but this cover is by Reza, by the way. It's the variant. It's the cover A. Dope cover. But anyway, give you a little bit of background, give you a spoiler-free overview of the plot, and tell you what my final thoughts and rating on the issue were. So, some background. Like I said, we already had season 1 of Icon and Rocket. We also had season 1 of Hardware, and those both take place 3 months before this started. So what you need to know, for one, I highly recommend that you check out Hardware season 1 and Icon and Rocket season 1. Unlike Static that we talked about last week, I feel like you do need to read those to better understand what's going on. Everything does get explained here pretty well as far as what happened in the last season and where we are in the story. But I just think it'll serve you better to know the story by reading it. So anyway, pick up Icon and Rocket, pick up Hardware if you haven't already. This takes place 3 months later. And since the events of the Big Bang, Curtis was kind of blamed or framed for the events of the Big Bang. I'll let you learn what the Big Bang was if you didn't read that already. And he's been trying to clear his name, but he's been on the run basically since season 1 started. And he's like, yo, like they keep finding me no matter where I hide, no matter how much tech I have, they keep finding me, they keep tracking me down. And at the same time, he kind of becomes aware of Icon, and he's doing all his research, kind of like Batman trying to figure out who the heck Superman was in the Snyderverse. And so he's doing all this research, like, all right, well, here's this alien dude. Oh, you've been around for this many years. Oh, the government's after you. Oh, you did this and that, right? And so basically, Hardware or Curtis thinks that him somehow co-opting Icon's alien technology will help him hide from the government and all those forces that are after him. And so he goes, tries to find Icon's spaceship, instead finds Benjamin Banneker's time machine, and is like, okay, well, this is not the technology I was looking for, but with time travel, I can solve a lot of my problems. And so this issue sees Hardware going back through the past to a couple of different points in the past, trying to right a few personal wrongs and undo a few things that, again, I'll let you read to find out what they are. Meanwhile, since the events of Icon and Rocket season 1, Icon has started a relationship. He has sent Rocket to a boarding school to prepare her to be a future leader of tomorrow. And we really get a sort of inside look at what it's like at that boarding school, but also what Icon's been up to in the last 3 months. I mean, he's grown a beard. He's living his best life out here. And the issue sort of, I won't spoil the ending, but we're getting closer and closer to Icon and Hardware kind of meeting each other and some sort of confrontation happening, if a confrontation is going to happen, which leads me to my final thoughts, right? So all in all, I enjoyed the issue. The art by Dennis Cowan is pretty good. The art by Yasmin Flores is also pretty good. I almost mistook it for Chris Cross artwork. So the art is actually really good, no matter who's drawing it. What I will say is that this issue takes a surprising turn, and it really reads like Hardware season 2 more so than anything. I'm curious to get to the confrontation, or what could be the confrontation. It feels like this issue doesn't really set up confrontation. It's hard to talk about this book without spoiling it, but it just feels like confrontation is not where this is headed. And if that's the case, I'm curious as to like what the content of the next, 4 issues of the 5 issue miniseries are going to be. So if nothing else, it's got me intrigued. It's got my ears perked up. I'm like, okay, I'm listening. What's going on? I kind of wish this issue kind of packed more of a punch, like, or we got more of a conflict between, you know, the people on the cover who are clearly engaged in a battle on the cover, but I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure it's coming. I don't know how or why. And that's probably like the one knock I'd have against this issue. But all in all, great character development for Hardware. We learned something new about Hardware that I think is really interesting. We also get some positioning for Icon that is different. It's new. It's something that you wouldn't have guessed or seen from whether it's OG Milestone or even season 1. So I like the picture that this is painting. I like the world that this is building. I like the connective tissue that we're kind of building throughout all the different Milestone books as season 2 is underway. This is definitely a solid entry, and I think kind of merging together the Icon and Hardware timelines is probably going to be good in the long run. um, but it's not quite apparent yet exactly what this is trying to achieve or why. And for that, I gave this a solid 7.5 rating. Art's really good, story's really good, the voices of the characters are all really good. I don't really have any complaints except that I feel like the plot took me places that I wasn't expecting it to go. And the places that I was expecting it to go, or I did want it to go, I was kind of left wanting more of, if that makes sense. So until next month, I'm definitely on the hook for this. I mean, I'm gonna buy it no matter what. You guys know I'm a big Milestone fan, but those are my overall thoughts on the issue. Not quite the punch that Static Shadows of Dakota had last week, but still a really good book, a really solid entry, and I'm excited to see what else they have in store for us. So shout out to Reggie Hudlin, Dennis Cowan, Leon Chills, Yasmin Flores. Her art is awesome. You should check it out. If nothing else for her art, Dennis Cowan is still at the top of his game. His art is dope as well. I do kind of miss Bill Sienkiewicz inks a little bit. Can't even lie. But anyway, it's a good book. Like I said, 7.5 out of 10. You should pick it up. It's in shops this week. Cover price on it is $4.99. So go ahead to your LCS. It's probably not sold out yet, but it's on its way there. So check it out and tell them I sent you. Till next time.